today I want to talk about networking and the power of kindness. But before I do, I wanted to start by sharing something that a friend sent to me recently that really resonated, as I feel it encapsulates a lot of what I want to spend the next 10 minutes talking about. I wish more women realised that helping another woman win, cheering her on, or sharing a resource with her does not take away from the blessings coming to them. In fact, it is better to give than to receive. Empowering women does not come from selfishness, but rather selflessness. I believe the power of networking and the power of kindness, married together, is enormous. Challenge and change are both part and parcel of every modern-day woman's career path. The reality is that everybody knows someone that someone else should know. And whether we realise it or not, we are always networking. I wanted to talk for a moment about 6 degrees of separation. This is the idea that anyone on the planet is connected to any other person through a chain of acquaintances with no more than 5 links. Now, if you're an Irish person, you will be all too familiar with this rule. I have lost track of the amount of times across the world that I have been asked, you're Irish, you must know so-and-so. And the reality is that by the time you finish the conversation, you reach a place where you do. Networking is the bridge by which we get here. I wanted to draw on personal experience for a moment and share a little bit of my journey to the stage here today with you. Last October, I decided to step out of my comfort zone and take a leap of faith. There was something about the pandemic that made me feel a little bit braver than I had ever felt before, and I started to take the approach, sure, what's the worst that can happen? I guess, like a lot of people, my first experience with a global pandemic really made me want to put things into perspective, and being closer to my loved ones was definitely up there for me. I decided to leave my familiar life in London, where I had been living for 20 years, and return home to Dublin. This also entailed leaving my job at Condé Nast, where I had been working for 16 years in magazine publishing across a wide variety of incredible titles such as Wired, GQ, Vogue and Glamour. Now, when I say I came home, what I really mean is that I moved country, because the reality is that the landscape in Ireland now is very different to what it was upon my departure in 2000. And no amount of coming backwards and forwards at weekends really prepares you for what life is like when you live back here. It is different. It's not bad different, but it's just different. During this transition, I navigated a Christmas in isolation due to COVID, and again found myself back in lockdown in my new surroundings. I naturally wanted to try and find some sort of community, connection to a network that would enable me to connect with other women in a similar situation. I quickly realised from talking to people that there was a wide variety of people who, for whatever reason or another, had decided to move home from various cities across the world, and they too felt a little bit lost. One evening, while scrolling LinkedIn, I reached out to a former colleague that I used to work with. She was the CRO at Albright, a leading global career network for women that I now head up in Ireland. Albright co-founders Anna Jones and Debbie Wasco coined the term sisterhood, and in their best-selling book, Believe, Build, Become, talk about how sisterhood works, and in particular, paying it back to the sisterhood. This is essentially taking all of the wisdom from women our own age and passing it down to other women coming up through the ranks. It's the idea of throwing the ladder back down. So, how do you develop your own sisterhood? Well, networking is key, but it doesn't have to be done in a scary or a formal way. It can be done in real life, it can be done virtually, or a blend of both. In fact, increasingly, I'm having more and more virtual coffee with people where we agree at a particular time to sit around our respective kitchens and, chat, have a coffee, have a tea. The point is, it doesn't have to be face-to-face. It is possible to build meaningful connection online. It is possible to have conversations with purpose. Now, I know that it can feel risky reaching out, but the reward is huge. I reached out to the amazing women in my network, and they in turn reached out to the amazing women in their network and connected me. I can honestly say I have been truly overwhelmed with the kindness and the generosity of spirit that I have received. It's incredible. Have we always been like this, or has COVID taught us to be more empathetic? I think the answer is yes. The pandemic has shown us that now more than ever we rely on relationships and connection. The amount of people in my network, and in particular not in my network, who were willing and able to help me on this journey of spreading the All Right offering and network in Ireland. Each person that I connected with suggested somewhere between 5 and 10 people that they thought that I should meet. In fact, not only that, but they were happy to make the introductions. Now, anyone that has scoured LinkedIn trying to connect with clients time and time again will understand and appreciate the impact of a warm introduction. Someone is vouching for you, and that is huge. Kindness. I don't think we talk enough about kindness, and I believe it is one of the key ingredients to successful networking. People respond to kindness, and in particular, empathetic people. I am still in touch with all of my former colleagues and clients from my previous roles, and I am not ashamed to say how proud that makes me. Serotonin. Did you know that being kind releases serotonin into the body? Yes, and it's free, and it's simple, and it's extremely rewarding for both parties. Generally, women are not threatened by each other. In fact, quite the opposite is true. Women are teaching and supporting each other and helping to spotlight each other. More women need to learn this lesson. Don't hoard your success, share it. One of the first things to think about is who you already know. Who is in your network? Think of your network a little bit like a board of directors. You don't want all the same people. You want a nice mix. You want a critic. You want a supporter. And ideally, you want an expert. Look at some of the networks and see who your friends know. Remember, every person knows someone that someone else should know. Networking is also critical for solo entrepreneurs and small businesses in building relationships that support each other in mutually beneficial ways. Rarely is there ever a bad connection, and even if there is one or two, try and think of it as a learning experience and move on. Networking also helps build confidence. In fact, when we surveyed our Allbright members, 65% of them said that they felt more confident when meeting with like-minded people. Networking also has other key benefits. You save time when working with experts in a particular field. You have the ability to problem solve with people in the same situation as you. You can share resource, which in turn can give you a cost saving. And you can help with further introductions to you and to other people. And it's that idea again that someone is vouching for you. If we are lucky, our professional life and our personal beliefs can come together to make work so much more than just getting a paycheck at the end of the month. When we are able to do what we love with people who share the same values, it brings a joy and an energy to our everyday lives, and that is hard to beat. So remember, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So please reach out, let's network, and most importantly, be kind. Thank you.